welcome back. Here we are once again, back on the Cover to Cover podcast. It is pouring rain here in Los Angeles, California for the last couple of days. So we're soaked and wet, and the studio we are in is flooded, but we are still going to do this for you. How are you? I hope you're all having a great week. Let's get started. I just came from Rochester, New York this weekend. I was up there. Thank you to all the people who came. I had a great weekend, and it was so much fun. It's a great club, comedy at the Carlson. Thanks to all those guys up there who make that place fun, and everyone who came out. A lot of cover-to-cover people, a lot of Juicy Scoop people, a lot of Juicy Scoop people who had no idea I had a podcast. I'm trying to spread the word here as much as I can, but maybe I'm not doing a good job. So I have a podcast here too. So if you guys who are listening are also Juicy Scoopers and whatever, go out and tell everybody, man, because the guy who runs this podcast network was just here, and he was telling us we're doing very well, but get it out there. Get it out there. Tell everybody, come down, watch. We'll have fun. I think it's fun. I'm having fun doing it. Hope you're having fun listening to it. And that's that. I have some other dates coming up. We'll get to those in a minute, and then come out and see it live because it's real fun. I'm as good as I've been in a while right now, and that could change any day. So you never know. Get it while it's hot. All right, here we are. We're back. I guess the government's still shut down, right? We're still shut down here in America, whatever that means. I hope you are not one of those people that it affects. If you are, my apologies. It must suck to have to go. Some of them have to go to work and not get checks. I hope you eventually get a check. I think you do. But still, I mean, I know some people don't have savings, and even one check will fuck up your life. So. And I've been noticing it a little bit as I'm out on the road, and I have been quite a bit lately in the TSA, because they are government employees, I believe, and not getting paid. And they weren't, honestly, they weren't great to begin with. So any type of thing that they needed to not be any better, they took. And so now the lines are real long to get through, and because they don't care anymore, so they'll just let you wait forever. And so now if you're going anywhere in the next couple of days or weeks or however long this thing lasts, I suggest you get there 2-3 hours in advance, because it's getting nuts. And I feel bad for them. It does suck that the people aren't getting paid, but still, I got to get to my gigs, man. Come on, let me get through. And I'm not any trouble. Let me through. Everything is in 3-ounce containers. I don't have any guns and shit in my bag. I'm not causing any trouble. My medals are out. I'm traveling. There should be a line for people who have their shit together. We all know who we are. We all travel, the people who travel extensively throughout the country. We should be able to get in a line going, we got this. We do it every weekend. We're good. Let us go through. And then the other folks who travel once or twice a year, you guys go into the lane where some of you are trying to get in, 72-ounce bottles of Pantene still. You're trying to get that on the plane. You guys go in that line where you have mayonnaise in your like a big jar of mayonnaise in your suitcase. I don't know why. They do. I mean, you should see the shit I see pulled out of people's suitcases. They're like, they got mayonnaise everywhere. You don't have to travel with mayonnaise. You can get mayonnaise upon your arrival at your destination. There'll be mayonnaise or whatever crazy shit they just pulled out of your thing. So anyway, get your shit together, because we all got to move through that airport quickly. And the government shutdown has affected. I mean, I don't get political on this podcast because I understand people's love of Donald Trump. I understand why he appeals to certain people, and I get it. But you have to admit, if you saw this morning or yesterday that he was serving Big Macs and McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's to the national champions, Cornell. Who was it? Cornell or Clemson? Clemson, national champion college football team, came to the White House for, to get whatever they do from the president when they win the championship. And he had a buffet of fast food set out for them, of Big Macs, French fries. He talked about it. He stood behind this table of stacks of Big Macs and just basically said to everyone, these are wonderful foods, American food, beautiful food, great food, lots of French fries, very, very many French fries. And these are the things he's saying. And I know people like him, but you have to admit, sometimes the shit is bizarre. Like him standing behind stacks of Big Macs And it's fucking laughable. And I understand maybe college kids like Big Macs, but he said it's because of the government shutdown is the reason why it happened, because I guess the employees who work at the White House are furloughed because of the government shutdown. They were not able to make food. So he went out and on his own dime, he bought a bunch of Big Macs. Like this is fucking bizarro world, right? He bought a bunch of Big Macs for these kids and the kids ate the Big Macs and that's the way we're at. And that's where we're at right now. So, I mean, I hope the kid, like, hey, listen, a Big Mac's fine. I mean, I've had one. I haven't had one in a while, but if there's one at a table for free at a party, I'll have it. But if I went to the White House to accept my award for being the national champion, I would hope for a little more than a Big Mac. Like I could get a Big Mac. You know, I don't have to win the national championship or the World Series to get a fucking Big Mac. I'll walk across the street right now and get one. How do you like that? It'll be a Korean Big Mac, but nonetheless a Big Mac. Anyway, but yeah, that was crazy shit. And so that's where I woke up to this morning, and I wanted to get to that because as you know, I said we do it cover to cover, and that was the cover story that I woke up to this morning. Then I watched the football games this weekend. I watched both the AFC and the NFC games, and there were really no surprises. I believe New Orleans Saints were, you know, they finally got it together and won that game. New England Patriots look way better than anyone thought they would, and just looked like the New England Patriots and won that game. And then the Rams, of course, won easily. And who was the other one? There was one more. Anyway, I forgot who it was. But anyway, now they'll all be playing each other next week, so we'll see what happens in that. But the reason why I bring it up is because during while I was watching the games, I saw a commercial for Celebrity Big Brother is now coming on. Celebrity Big Brother, I believe it's CBS, coming on CBS. And they announced the new celebrities who will be coming on Celebrity Big Brother. And it's, you know, the regular crew of like, you know, B, C-list celebrities who do all these shows. They just move from one of these shows to the next. And you know who they are. It's Lindsay Lohan's mom and Tom Green, the comedian, and some other people that I didn't know, and most I did know just from this. Anthony Scaramucci from the White House is on it. And then it gets to the end of the commercial and they go, and one more. And you see a guy from the back and he turns around and it's Kato Kaelin. And he says, if anyone knows how to be a house guest, it's me. And everyone laughs. I'm like, did we just do like a joke about him being O.J. Simpson's house guest? Who? O.J. Simpson. Let's not forget. Cut off the heads of two fucking people.
Two of his house guests.
And like this was done as a laugh line on the commercial. I know it's been quite some time since it happened, but still, it seemed bizarre. Like the people over at CBS told, you think maybe we should should we make the commercial that light and fun and have him as like the big surprise at the end? Like, talk about a crazy house guest. Remember when I was with that murderer for a while? I mean, that's fucking crazy. But whatever. I just thought the whole thing was bizarre. So now Kato Kaelin is on it too. Which, I mean, talk about a guy who's gotten some mileage out of that thing, just being like in the house that OJ was in when that all happened. Kato has been running with this shit for 25 years now, I think, or close to it. So anyway, he'll be on Celebrity Big Brother if you want to watch that.
That's still his claim to fame for the last 25 years.
What else could it possibly be? You know, like I don't blame the guy in a way because I guess Kato was trying to be an actor and a comedian or whatever when it all went down. So he got screwed over by it. He didn't ask to be that, you know, involved in it. So his life was kind of over at that point as far as like movies and TV went. Not that he was probably going to do anything anyway because he's a bit of a goofball, I think. But so he had to do something. Like, I mean, it was either go get a job at Lowe's or Home Depot, which would have been fine, or try and make something of this. And he did. Like, he's still going. I don't know if he makes real money. I actually saw him last week. We got our hair cut in the same place. I did not know this, but there's a Fantastic Sam's. That's right. Fantastic Sam's in Burbank.
Man of the people.
You better believe it. And I walk into my Fantastic Sam's. It's a bunch of like Armenian ladies who'll cut your hair. And I always get a little nervous when the people cutting my hair have horrible hair. But this place, there's not one woman who has, they all look like they've just got off the boat from Armenia and have like, they're wearing like frocks and just have hair of like a woman who just milked a cow. But yet they do a good job. Kato's got nice hair. My hair's pretty decent. The day I saw Kato there, you get Fritz Coleman, who, for those of you who don't know, Fritz Coleman, he's our weatherman here in Los Angeles and has been for many, many years, also a comedian. Fritz is there getting his haircut, as is Garrett Morris, original Saturday Night Live member. Now, I think he was on, last thing I saw him on was Two Broke Girls. So Garrett Morris, Fritz Coleman, Kato Kalin, and we could have literally shut the doors of that Fantastic Sam's and did our own Big Brother house. We could have just locked us in for 30 days, and with the Armenian women, and filmed that fucking TV show. Would have been better than probably the CBS Big Brother. Anyway, so that was that. Now let's get into some other crazy stories from. We're going to go with the New York Post today because it's just easier for me to read, and it does have some salacious topics. The cover of today's New York Post is this girl who was just found after being held hostage for 3 months. Her name is Jamie. I'm not sure of her last name. I could find it here somewhere. Gordon? No, Gordon, Wisconsin was where it happened. Jamie Kloss is 13 years old. Jamie Kloss is her name. And she does a fucked up story. And now more and more is coming out about what happened. So this guy who abducted her, 21-year-old. Do you know anything about this story?
I don't.
Alex?
No,
okay,
no.
well, I'll this, first of all, it's in Wisconsin, like in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. If now seeing the pictures of the house that not only she lived in, that he lived in, they're like in the middle of the woods. And so there's nobody to hear you scream or even escaping like this girl did. She probably had to walk quite a distance to get to anything. It's not like here in Los Angeles where you can walk next door and there's somebody right there. So anyway, this kid who abducted her is 21 years old. He looks exactly like the type of guy who would abduct a girl. His name is Jake Thomas Patterson. 3 names, which is always a red flag. 3 names has been a red flag since, the guy who shot Kennedy and the guy who shot Martin Luther King. Everybody, I know every serial killer, 3 names. If you're having a child or are about to thinking about having a child, do not name it 3 names. It just lends itself to serial killing, assassinations, or abduction. So do your child a favor and don't name, and especially don't make one of the middle names Lee, or because I think that's a big one. It seems Lee.
That's a good first name.
Harvey, Lee Harvey Oswald, and it was the Kennedy one. But anyway, so this guy's name is 3 names, and it is Jake Thomas Patterson.
Don't give your kids the name you don't want your uncles to have.
Exactly. Yeah, my uncles are all one-named people. I mean, I'm sure they have a middle name, but they don't use it. Don't use it is what I'm saying. This guy says, so now it's all coming out about what he had done. He's driving to work. He works at a cheese factory, which in Wisconsin, perhaps there's many. I mean, that's their thing, right? Cheese. Mm-hmm. He works at a cheese factory, and he's driving to a cheese factory, which I guess he drives it's like 45 miles to work. He's driving past this girl's bus stop. This girl's 13 years old. She's waiting at the bus stop. He's never met her before. He didn't know her. Never even seen her in the neighborhood. Spots her at the bus stop, says, I'm going to abduct that girl. Says this is what he tells the cops the next day. I'm going to get that girl. Drives off.
Was this his first abduction?
As far as we know, that could change. Who knows? At this point, it seems to be his first abduction. He says, I'm getting that girl. Then somehow he finds out where she lives. Maybe he knew from being in the neighborhood or whatever. Basically, I guess, goes over the first time, kind of chickens out, says, I can't do it. But he's full on hell bent on getting this girl just from seeing her at the bus stop. How fucking crazy is that? So Caesar goes back the next day. Now they're in the middle of the woods. I guess this girl's father sees this dude pull up into the driveway, and it's late at night and they're in the middle of the woods. So anybody pulling up in the driveway is strange. He believes it's a cop, according to what I've read. Goes to the front door. The guy shoots him. Boom. Kills him dead. 1 bullet. Then the mother and this girl, Jamie, get into the bathtub to hide from this fucking guy. This guy breaks into the bathroom, basically sees the mother, huddling over her daughter to try and save her. Tells the mother, I believe, to tape the daughter's mouth. This is all fucking craziness. Tells the mother to tape the daughter's mouth, then kills the mother and takes the girl in his trunk. Leaves the house. Middle of the woods, drives out. Only 1 road in and out, I believe. Now cops have heard gunshots, or somebody has called the cops hearing gunshots. I think the mother might have actually called the police. Cops come flying the opposite direction. This guy drives past the cop. He's already out. He got the girl in his trunk. Back to his house, puts the girl into whatever he kept her in under the bed. I read in this article he kept her under the bed for long lengths of time, like shackled with no food or water or bathroom breaks or anything like that. So this 13-year-old girl for almost 3 months was trapped under his bed as he had people over the house. Like I guess he let her out a little bit, but then he would put her under the bed when people come over the house, which is fucking weird to me that he would even have people over the house while he had that. I don't have people over my house when my bed's not made. Like if I had abducted someone, there's no way I'm letting anyone over the house because I'm going to keep my abductions private. So that's just crazy to me, this whole thing. And then the poor girl, I guess one day he said he was leaving to go to work or something. Now, of course, you'll see pictures if you look it up of the inside of this guy's house, like police pictures, and it looks exactly what you'd expect somebody's shitty house to look like. It's just like it's just got like shit all over the place. This is why I tell people to keep your house nice. Try to at least, because you don't want to look like a serial killer. This guy's got like those shitty signs up. He's got out front, it says Patterson's Retreat. It's got a sign, one of those carved signs you get at like Magic Mountain or something. So he's got one of those, which almost makes it look like a nice little place that like an old couple lives at. But this weirdo lived there, and the girl escapes while he's at work or somewhere, and just runs down the street. I mean, the poor girl's like dirty, and I think she would have bathed in the 3 months, and she was in his shoes. So, and this nice couple, I guess, sees her, finds her, and they take her in and call the cops, and now she's rescued at least. Then they find this guy, and you can't say the girl's good because she'll never be good, but at least she's out of the situation she was in. But then, like a day later, she's living with her aunt now because her parents are dead. So she's living with the aunt.
Killed the mother too?
Killed the mother and the father. Yeah. Now the aunt has put a picture of her on Facebook saying, "Here we are. We're safe and sound. She's going to be, it's going to be a while, but we're going to, try and get it back to good." And I'm like,
I don't like that.
Me neither. I'm like, why the fuck put a picture of this poor girl online?
Yeah.
This girl has been through
famous enough.
I know. She's like suffered enough. I feel like the aunt to put a picture of her on Facebook, it was just so strange to me. I'm like, gee, leave the fucking girl off. There's already perverts grabbing her off the street, just seeing her on the fucking bus stop. Like, why put a picture of her online? I thought that was pretty strange. Anyway, that's a fucked up story, right? Wasn't it?
Man, that is. How big was the town then?
Oh, I mean, I don't know the population, but it's from what I've gathered in the pictures, it's like a tiny little town. Little town. So
well, and that's crazy too. Is like I'm sure the murders just rocked that town. I'm sure that was the biggest story there the whole time. So the fact that he had people over is kind of insane. Like everyone in that area has to know about that.
And then the other thing, I mean, if you had to find a silver lining here, I mean, they found the girl, which normally in a case like that where the parents are murdered, it's just a matter, you're just going to find the girl dead eventually. But in this case, they got her back. I mean, she'll never be right in the head. Like that girl that had happened 2 years ago in Utah. Remember that one, Elizabeth Smart? Her name was with the parents. See, that's once again, I grew up in a household where we did not like company in our house. My father was always weird about having people over. We were always like, he guessed in the home. My father used to mumble to himself anytime anyone came over. He would just mumble, "Guest in the home, guest in the home." It was strange behavior, admittedly, but
now you get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it because having people in your house, you don't need it. Everybody just meet somewhere else because everybody's home doesn't, and especially if you have children, you don't want freaks in your house because then they start to. So what happened in the Elizabeth Smart case was this guy was like a Mormon, I believe. So he was one of those people who believed in helping out less fortunate types. So he would hire like homeless people to come over and do yard work. So one day he hires like this homeless dude to come over and work on the roof or something, and he spots Elizabeth Smart.
I recall that.
Yeah, who at the time's like 12, I believe, or something. And he just comes back a couple days later and grabs this girl out of her bed and takes her into the woods for months. And they've eventually found her, but she's never going to be the same. I mean, I see her now. I think she spoke about this abduction, and you see her on TV, and you could tell that she's just not right. It's never going to be right, and it's. I'm not saying it should be. It never will be.
Well, that's a change in your life. You have no say over.
Forget about it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyway, don't get strangers to come over your house and work on your roof. Get a legitimate guy who has a
Get someone who's licensed and bonded.
Yes, licensed and bonded.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Thank you, Alex, for the licensed and bonded. Yeah, for do your work. I'll come over and do your work. I do a lot of work. I mean, I do carpentry, electrical. I could do some landscaping. And I'll come over. I have no interest in children. I can honestly say that. Thank God, because I mean, I guess if you're one of those perverts who are interested in kids, there must be a time in your life where you look at a 12-year-old and go, "That's a good-looking 12-year-old." And then you go like, "Fuck, why am I saying that?" But thank God I'm not one of those people, because it's got to be a fucked up time in your life where you're like, "Oh, I think that's a good looking one."
Well, for every guy that's doing crazy stuff like that, there are probably 100 who are like just biting their knuckles. Like,
oh, don't say that, Alex. But you're right.
Not in a bad way. I mean, people who understand that part of being a part of society is you have to practice restraint over whatever your thing is.
Right,
you know?
right.
But yeah, man, that's a
I don't get it. I guess that's a good thing. Anyway, should we move on with some other stories?
Yeah.
What else do we got? What else you got, Alex? What did you do this week? Anything exciting? Don't go too long.
Nope, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing exciting.
Nothing exciting?
I went to Vegas to renew my driver's license.
Oh, that you did mention that last week that you were going to do that.
I'll tell you this: DMV, in and out with a picture, 20 minutes.
They are getting better, I must admit.
Well,
same thing happened to me. Is it because of the government shutdown? Or are they government employees?
I mean, they're employed by Clark County, and Clark County's got a really good pension program. So who knows where their money comes from? But they were telling me that it's because they got rid of their automated system that things got better. Because the way that works out there, you text them once you're late, you have an hour to jump back into your line via text.
Okay.
So people just never show up until they're already late.
Oh, gotcha.
It made it worse. So, yeah, Nevada DMV, California DMV, take some notes. That's what I'll say.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much, Alex, for that.
That's all I got.
Alex, a little background in the Las Vegas DMV. If any of you people want to renew your license, I suggest Las Vegas. It's
possible.
You know what the other big story this week was? The guy from Amazon is getting divorced. And it's a huge story. Jeff Bezos.
Oh,
is going through a divorce, which could, be a $1 billion divorce, I guess, for his wife, and they have been married for quite some time, 20 years, I believe, or somewhere close to that. But now some salacious details about this are coming out. He is been texting back and forth with a friend's wife, ex-wife. Ooh. It's kind of hard to keep up. You guys might know better than me, but the her name is Sanchez, I believe. I know who she is. She used to be like a local news girl here in Los Angeles, and then she moved on to like Extra and stuff like that. But she's been around like LA TV for quite some time. So we Lauren Sanchez is her name. We here in Los Angeles know who she is. She was dating a pretty powerful agent here in LA. They were married, I believe. And then Bezos knew the agent and her. I guess they got divorced, and Bezos started. So they have texts from Jeff Bezos and her, like flirtatious, sexy texts.
Post-divorce or pre-divorce?
A little bit of both, from what I gather. Okay. I could be wrong, but anyway. They are classic nerdy sexts from a guy who runs Amazon. You would think
it's exactly what you'd expect.
Exactly. It's not like real dirty, like if you're a regular fucking dude sexting a girl who you like. You would eventually get to the point where you kind of get real dirty about it, because why not? It's just, if we're going to do this, let's do this. But this is a Jeff Bezos basically saying like really strange nerdy things to this Lauren Sanchez, like I'd like to be in you someday, or shit like that. And I'm not kidding. Like that's basically how it is. But it's just so embarrassing to read someone else's sexting. And I don't know how it gets out there. Like I feel like it's happening a lot lately. I feel like as soon as this stuff happens, is it the phone companies releasing this information? How is it becoming a public record? Because now in the last 3 days, I have read 3 different stories about different email, whether it be emails or texts that have come out publicly. Jeff Bezos being one of them. Another one being this guy who is the lawyer for the El Chapo.
Yes.
He's El Chapo's lawyer, and he was sexting. Now, I'll try and stay with me on this one because it gets a little convoluted. And as you know, I don't have a lot of facts on my stories. I just have opinions. So this El Chapo's lawyer, they found a bunch of sext from him to a girl who I guess is kind of famous in like the world of New York, socialite, sexty. Her name is Sarma Melgalius.
Sarma.
Sarma, who I guess is a restaurant person. She owns a restaurant. Apparently she has taken many a men into her web and gotten them to sext her or whatever. The latest being the El Chapo lawyer, who sent her a bunch of text and sex saying, I'm having, because El Chapo wants women to his prison, is his cell. He hasn't had women in a while. So he's saying, get me women. And the guy's like, I can't get women into the prison. It's just, you can't do that.
You got to tunnel into a prison. You can't get some women into
well, now
a prison?
He's not in the Mexican prison anymore. He's in like a New York prison, I think, so he can't tunnel anymore. But in the Mexican prison, I guess it's just a dirt floor, so he can tunnel anywhere he wanted.
It's very tunnelable.
Yeah, it's very tunnelable. This is he's no longer in a tunnelable prison, so he has to get. So this guy's basically, whether he's bullshitting or not, in these sex he's sending to this girl, he's saying, I get Chapo girls in there all the time. I dress up like hot strippers as men and send them in, and like we're in some fucking Keystone Cops movie where this is actually going to work. So I think it might be bullshit, but he's saying that, and I'm getting El Chapo women all the time by doing that.
He's just like boasting stuff that doesn't even
So now
happen.
he's in trouble because they're like, well, first of all, if that's true, it's highly illegal and you're fucking off this case. And if it's not true, we just have weird sex abuses. So now as they're looking through this girl's sex, this girl, Sarma, they find ones from Louis C.K.
Ooh.
Yes. Louis C.K., I guess this girl said Louis C.K. gave her herpes. So C.K. is writing back and forth with her saying, hey, I never said I was fully clean. And so you can't, it's not, you should have, not done it with me. And then he starts going into like weird, like almost comedy bits. You got to read them. You can find them. They're almost like comedy bits about like herpes and shit to this girl via
things
text.
You can say at the dinner table.
It's just like so strange. Like, I guess he's like so, I don't know. The more I read about this fucking Louis C.K., he seems completely like clueless to the way the world works, which is strange to me. For a guy who could be so, so good at like observational humor, he doesn't seem to observe life very normally. Anyway, so look up those and I believe it's the same girl all involved in it. So those are 3 different cases of people getting their emails and
what if El Chapo gets Louis C.K.'s herpes?
Oh. You see, Alex, now how would that fucking happen if you could someone would send him to the...
I don't know. Just saying, there's a web there. There's a thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Louis giving back to the people now. He's giving criminals herpes.
Can you sue? I guess you sue somebody for herpes. Can you sue somebody
I'm
for
sure
giving?
If you don't tell them,
it has happened in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. This is something I want to talk about because this is a real thing that's happening. There's a cruise happening in 2020. The flat Earth. Okay, I'll just read it exactly how it's written in the paper. A group of bizarro world Christopher Columbuses convinced that the Earth is flat are planning to set sail on what could be a terrifying trip for them, a cruise. The Flat Earth International Conference, this is a real thing, which denies what navigators disproved centuries ago, will embark on a reality-bending voyage in 2020. Precise dates and details are scant, but the group promises it to be its biggest, boldest adventure yet. So what they're going to do is there's a Flat Earth International Society. So these are a bunch of people who believe the Earth is flat. Still. I believe Sherry Shepard, the comedian who used to be on The View, years ago said she believes the Earth is flat. She didn't say she necessarily believes the Earth is flat. She said it hasn't been disproven to me yet that it's not. So until that is done, I believe that it is flat, I guess. So this Flat Earth International Conference is going to get on a cruise in 2020. I guess, I don't know if to prove that the Earth, but I don't know if getting on a cruise would necessarily prove that the Earth. I don't know if that's going to work for them, because you could just cruise for days and on the water, and I don't know if that's going to prove to them that the Earth is not. If they don't fall off the edge, maybe that they'll be convinced that it's not, because I think they believe that you could fall off the edge.
Are they? So I've seen the flat Earth map. Have you seen that?
I have not. No.
There's like a disc, and it almost looks like a bowl.
Okay.
I wonder if they're gonna go looking for the edge of the ocean.
So is that how it's supposed to work? But okay, so you just stay in the bottom like a sink almost. You'd be in just.
I could be completely wrong. I don't want to do any disservice to any of those true flat earthers out there.
Yeah.
But good luck in finding your.
But I think that's pretty fascinating. And I know a lot of cruise ships like to have comedians on board. I would like to now request that you hire me to be on the Flat Earth International Conference cruise in 2020. I'll be the entertainment.
I think they probably already booked it.
I won't make fun.
They probably already booked it.
I'm sure they could definitely find comedians who believe in flat. I think I know a few guys who are flat earthers.
Is Sam Tripoli on the flat Earth thing? I don't know.
He was the one I was thinking of when I said that, and I like Sam a lot. I don't know if he's on the flat Earth thing. I don't think he's on the flat Earth thing. He's on many other things, but I don't know if it's the flat Earth one.
But regardless, there are tons of cruise ship comedians who will do it.
Well, they'll do anything for $2,500. So it doesn't make any. They have no pride in anything.
We should put all the cruise ship comedians on there just in case they do find. I'm sorry.
No,
sorry to any cruise ship comedian.
This is Alex doing bits, which I tell him not to do, at times, but he can't. He has to do jokes. He's a young comedian who has to do jokes. See, I just go through the paper, and maybe jokes will come from what I'm saying. Alex has bits lined up and ready to throw.
I didn't have a
tank.
Flat Earth cruise ship bit ready.
You had one in the fucking tank. Anyway, here's another one that is strange and interesting. A lawyer for an alleged Pennsylvania drunk driver claims that the client's blood alcohol results might have been skewered by her nervous nibbling of her coat. He says she wasn't drunk. She was so nervous when the cops pulled her over, she was nibbling on her coat, and that skewed the results. So he's now fighting to get her off because what she was chewing on, I guess, perhaps had alcohol in it or whatever triggered that fucking device. Have you ever had a DUI, Alex?
I have not, no.
Have you ever been pulled over by the police?
Oh, yeah. I've had a ton of speeding. When I was young, I got some speeding tickets.
And when the police pulled you over, did they ever give you a DUI test?
No.
No? Never? Okay. I have never had a DUI, although I must admit, and it's not a good thing, and I'm sorry to have to admit this, I've driven drunk many times. Back in the old days, before Ubers and Lyfts, and I used to be a bartender for many, many years, and we would get fucked up and drive home. It's a terrible thing to do. I'm so glad I don't do it anymore. And I was pulled over a couple of times in states that I couldn't even fucking stand, let alone drive. And I was let off 2 different times, thank God.
Did they tell you to sleep it off, or did they just say drive on home?
Just kind of in both instances, I was very close to my house. Mm-hmm. So I think they were both kind of just go home. I think they were kind of at the end of their shift or something. I think of something like that. And they were like, this could either be another 2 hours for us.
Yeah.
And this guy's, 100 feet from his house, or we can just let him get to the house, which I did in both cases. Thank God. So yeah, I got lucky in that. And I know all of my friends, I think, have had DUIs in the past. And it's just a real shitty day because you have to stay at the jail for the entire night and then wake up in the morning and leave some shitty jail in Van Nuys, California, in the case here. So I don't know if you people have had them. But if you have, come at me and tell me all about it on our Facebook page, the Cover to Cover Facebook page, which is now rocketing towards 800 people. We are moving right along on that Cover to Cover Facebook page, almost at 800 people. So get on there and tell me all about your stories. Some people are going on there. A lot of people want me to talk about, things TV related and stuff like that. There was another award show that they're happening so fast and furious at this point, I can't even keep up. I believe it was Critics' Choice was last night. The Critics' Choice Awards. I don't even know it was televised, but Lady Gaga won for Stars Born, but it also said Glenn Close won for that movie The Wife. So I don't know how they both won. Maybe they separated into 2 categories on that one too. Okay, But then Lady Gaga went on to do what I was said on last week's podcast, that I feel like she's always on the edge of a complete nervous breakdown. She won this award and went on to say, thank you so much. What a great evening it was to share this with Glenn Close. And then she went on to write a long diatribe about how her horse is dying. And it must be very sad to have a horse and it's dying.
Did she tell this during the speech or
No. She had written something. I happened to read it last night. And then she had written something like, I had a great time at the People's Choice Awards. Thank you for the award, but my horse is dying.
I need your thoughts
and I need to fly to the horse because he's dying. And it must be very sad to have a horse die. I don't know when she got this horse. I thought Lady Gaga lived in New York City and came from Jersey or something. I don't know when she had time to get a horse or even had the ability to corral a horse, but she has a horse and it's dying. And she went off on this long thing about how life is more important. This is what I'm saying about Lady Gaga. She's one of those girls who there's always you're very close to just some drama, always. Even when things are good. You just won Best Actress, Critics' Choice Award for Star is Born, but that sounds great. But my horse is dying. So it's always that. She always, and I couldn't have nailed it more perfectly last week when I said she literally had a nervous breakdown the week later when I said it, that she was going to have a nervous breakdown. She had one. Anyway, back to the guy from Jeff Bezos So he could lose billions of dollars. They're saying it could affect the stock market or whatever, this divorce and But now Bezos is out on the town, this is the richest man in the world.
Stimulating the old economy.
He could be out there like dating.
Yeah.
Whoever, whatever girl.
I feel so bad for him.
For Bezos?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously his life.
But he's not like a real guy who wants to date. He's not like Tommy Lee or, somebody who that's a guy who could probably take full advantage of being like a single guy at his age. But Bezos has gone out. I don't know if you've seen him lately. Has gone out and jacked himself up, and he's really muscular now and stuff, which is strange to look at. I don't know how old he is. He's one of those guys I can't tell if he's 35 or 65. Those people.
Yeah,
he's one of those dudes. So I don't know exactly how old Jeff Bezos is, but he's. I guess he's going to be out there unless this Lauren Sanchez thing is going to happen. He's going to be out on the dating scene. So good luck, girls. I mean, this guy could fucking. He could be.
Watch. Sarma, was her name Sarma?
Sarma is
Sarma better watch out.
She is probably going to be out there looking for that. I love the fact that New York. I don't know if any other city has this. Maybe some of the cities you live in do, but New York seems to have this whole subculture of girls and guys who just bounce from dude and man to man and woman to woman, but all seem to, rich person to rich person, but they all seem to be fucked up in some way. How does this girl meet Louis C.K. and the lawyer for El Chapo? How are they in the same fucking room? Yeah. I never meet anybody. I could walk around all fucking day and go do all my errands. I never see another person that I know. I see the same guy. I see Brody Stevens. You know Brody Stevens? He's the one dude I run into more than I ever.
818 till he dies.
Exactly. Well, I'm in the 818 too, and I see Brody just walking the street. I never see anybody good. I never see I like Brody, but it's never fucking Nicole Kidman or the lawyer for El Chapo. I always see Brody Stevens, walking past the laundromat. So I don't know if your city has what they seem to have in New York, where it's just these, seems to be restaurateurs just hooking up with guys, and in the Hamptons there was a lot of it. That girl. Remember that girl who fucking drove her car into a restaurant a couple of years ago? I'm sorry, I'm going on Abby Lederman or whatever the fuck. Not Annie Letterman, that comedian. But no, it was something. The other thing I want to talk about was a story I read about a new chain of stores that they're opening in Tokyo, I believe, Japan, Tokyo, yeah. Called Smash, where you could walk into these stores and for a certain price, I believe it's $30, in some cases $20, depending upon how much you want to smash, you could just smash things. Oh, Beijing, China. That's where it's opening. It's opening in Beijing, and the name of the store is called Smash. And for $23, you could spend a half hour in their anger room where patrons wearing protective gear use hammers and bats to vent their frustrations on household objects while the staff plays music. So they play really loud music, and you sit there and smash computers and phones and windows and bottles. And it says that it helps for people to vent. So instead of going up and shooting up a school, you could walk into this thing for $23, and since the venture opened in September, customers have smashed around 15,000 bottles every month, says a 25-year-old Jin Meng, who co-founded Smash with her friends. And it's not intended to promote violence. It's to help people deal with the pressures of living in a big city like Beijing. So go in and smash some shit. This is classic, like, Asian shit, right? Like, they always come up with these
This
weird
is the antithesis of that show that just got big on Netflix, where the Asian lady helps you clean up your house. This is they're just like ruin it.
I heard about this show, right?
You haven't seen it?
Well, no, I was watching yesterday on the Today Show. I was watching. They had a segment where they had a segment, unclutter your house segment.
Yeah.
And these two women came on, two like Yenta women came on and told you how to like fold your shirts. And it drove me crazy because she was doing it with Savannah Guthrie, and they had the drawer open, and they were showing them how to fold the shirts. And then they all walked away, and they didn't shut the drawer. And nothing angers me more. I don't know what. I think I'm like one of those people who has like a disorder that I can't walk past open drawers and not shut them.
Yeah.
And it was freaking me out because the whole time they're doing another segment like close to the dresser, and I could see the drawer open the whole time. I'm like, why didn't you just shut the
how good are you at
drawer?
your job? Yeah.
Just shut the drawer. Anyway. So, and then I was mentioning this to somebody else, and they told me about this thing on Netflix where the woman goes and tells people how to clean up their homes
in a language they don't even speak.
Is it really in Japanese?
Yeah, I think there's a translator there.
Yeah.
But she literally walks into like, Fred and Margaret's house.
So it's like hoarders?
No, I think it's not near that bad. I think it's just like she walks in and she's like, all right, let's teach you how to like be more organized.
What's the name of the show? I have to know the name of the show.
I will look it up. And
all right, find it, because I need to know the name of the show, because I feel that I'm becoming.
But it's their viral thing right now. My girlfriend's watched every episode.
This is what I keep hearing. It's like the third person who's mentioned to me in like the last 3 days, this show about this woman. So anyway, I was watching that on Today Show. Then I go to the 9 o'clock hour of the Today Show, which is driving me insane because, listen, I was no fan of Megyn Kelly. But then I read last week that they finally did the final deal on Megyn Kelly. NBC has finally cut ties completely with her, but she got $69 million to basically work there for, 3 weeks? And she walked away with almost $70 million for that. That's fucking crazy to me. Oh, I mean, that's such a brutal loss, because then they had to pay Lauer too. I believe they paid Lauer $30 million when he left, because he was contractually, there for the rest of the year. And then they had to pay Megyn Kelly another 70. Can you imagine the money these people have just to give? That's $100 million they gave away just to have people just go home. Just, we can't, no more. Like, you got to go. That's fucking crazy. And then we have these people from the government not working. 800,000 people I've heard. And now here in Los Angeles, we have a teacher strike, which is another, I believe, I've read 100,000 people or whatever it is, but if you're including everybody. So I don't know who's working anymore, because there's like 1 million people in just where that are not working in this country. And that's that's not including, people who weren't working to begin with. And yet, what's her face gets 70 million, and Lauer gets 30. So now the 9 o'clock hour is the four of them. It's the nice black guy. I forget his name. I don't know their names anymore. The little girl, the short blonde girl who does the weather, but she also does like sits at the round table now. And of course there's Al Roker, and there's another person usually. I don't know any of their names. Like, it's not Savannah Guthrie. It's not the other girl, Hoda Kotb. It's not her. These four. All they do is talk about their kids. This one girl, I guess, the blonde girl, weather girl.
And we know how you feel about this.
Well, but here's how anybody feels about it. At 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm watching the Today Show. I don't want to hear. And then little Jimmy was watching the football game, and they videotape everything now because they all got phones, so I have to watch how Jimmy
watch their home video.
like home videos of watching little Jimmy's reaction to the field goal that the Saints kicked or whatever. And I'm like, well, first of all, this shit's boring if I fucking know who you are. Like if you're my friend showing me that video, I pretend like I'm interested. But listen, I'm not trying to be an asshole here. Nobody's interested in it. Nobody. It's just not that interesting. If am I being an asshole?
No, it's not a miracle of life. It's everyone grows and goes through these.
Not
things.
even that. It's just but you're right.
Cool.
But
it's cool when it's like your thing you created.
Right. It's just not interesting.
Do you want the title? Of
Yes. What is the title?
So the show title is Tidying Up.
Tidying Up. Okay.
With Marie Kondo, Kondo.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna have to watch this and report on it when we get back. Yeah,
it's
So anyway, the Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. We'll talk about it next week when I watch a few. So that's fascinating. I'll have to watch that.
I can't wait to see her go into that new establishment where they just destroy stuff.
Yeah,
and she's
Smash.
Like,
I believe is the name of it. That's in Beijing. You can go smash shit. And then so that's the 9 o'clock hour of the Today Show where it's just. People talking about their kids for at least 15 minutes. And they all have children. I believe Al Roker's kids are a little older, but he still talks about them as if they're real children. I don't know if one of them seems to have special needs or something. Maybe they do. I don't know. But he talks about one of them. And I know he's an older kid, but he talks about him like he's a child. And
because
then
he has special.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe he does. That could be the case.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. I believe he might have special needs.
I know.
But maybe he doesn't. Then it is funny if he doesn't have special needs. That's it. We're at 45 minutes. We had a little problem here today because we're in a different area because there's been a flood. So I wasn't on my game. I can't see the paper. It's too far away from me. Normally I'm able to lean over the table and read from the paper. But today it's so far away. You should see what the fuck is happening in here right now. I mean, first of all, it's not a great situation to begin with. I travel down here every Tuesday or Wednesday from a great distance, and I travel through hell to get here. And then once I walk in, it's usually a little nicer. And listen, it ain't paradise, but it's usually nicer than.
But the signs are in English. We do our best. But
today, it has been flooded because we've had a lot of rain here in Los Angeles in the past couple of days. So they have just moved. They don't have much, but they moved what they had over to one corner. And I am now sitting on a couch, Naugahyde, I believe this material is of some sort. And in front of me is a red table that they got from some sort of Pizza Hut closeout sale. And it's very low. And the paper is on that low table.
We do need Marie Kondo here. Very bad.
We need Marie Kondo.
We need to invite her in.
She would walk out. I think she'd walk in and walk out.
She'd quit.
Yeah. So or turn this into Smash and just smash everything in.
Smash everything.
So I'm far away from the newspaper, so I can't see the paper because the microphone is very high and the paper is very far away. So I've been kind of going on just a memory of what I was reading last night and this morning. So if I fucked anything up or didn't get to any stories, my apologies. I hope you stuck through the last 45 to 50 minutes. We're going to do it again next week. You know what? Maybe even I'll give you a bonus one this week because this one was a little wet. And there's an outside chance we could get Alex could be dead by the time this is over with the electric. There's wires just lying in puddles over here, which I don't think is safe. And that's that. But for you people
will be on the Facebook page saying like, make sure Alex doesn't get electrocuted.
Well, I'll tell you this, Alex. If you died right now, there'd be 10% of the people on that Facebook page who'd be fucking thrilled that you're dead.
Hands up emojis.
And then another 90% who'd be a little sad. And then there's one gay guy who'd be so distraught because he always writes me and says, more Alex, please. And then he always says, can you send me a picture of Alex? We need more Alex. So
I get tagged in a lot of those requests for pictures.
I'm glad. I'm
going to give you a good headshot of me and you could just fire it off to him.
To the gay guy?
No, to anyone who asks.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I met this gay guy before. He's a super nice guy. I know you don't go there.
Where's he out?
He is in, what city is he in? I forgot. I should get his name because he is a real nice guy. I forget what city he's in, but he's come to see me a few times performing and he's a big fan of yours.
I bet I could tell you his name.
Oh, yeah, you probably could. He's got glasses, nice guy. Anyway, now we're going really down some dark roads here. I hope your team, if you live in those cities where those teams are playing this weekend, I hope they win. I'm pretty excited about it because let me tell you something. I know the New England Patriots, everyone's bored by them, but I have to say it is fun to watch somebody completely dominate and everyone's rooting against this guy, Tom Brady and that team. And they just keep doing it time and time again. And we all know from being sports fans how I sent that picture out already. That one.
Oh, that one?
About to show me. Yeah. How hard it is to do that. And the fact that they're going into their 8th AFC championship game in a row is unbelievable. And they looked better than any of the teams this week. So if they keep up the way they played last week, they're going to kill the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the other team, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs.
And if anybody lives
first time in a while, yeah.
If anybody lives in Kansas City, my apologies. But that's going to be a wild game. Actually, honestly, they both are. And the Rams and the Saints will be a wild game. So I'm going to be, oh, shit, my dates. I didn't do it again, Alex. My fucking dates. Please stay with me. Here goes, because I had such a great time in Rochester. I want to give out a few dates where I'm going to be coming. Everyone always says, when are you coming to Orange County? Come to Orange County. Yeah, I'm fucking coming to Orange County with these guys who run this podcast. Comedy Pop-Up. They do a show in Orange County, and I will be there. Huntington Beach, California, at a place called the Rec Room this Friday.
Beautiful.
The 18th at the Rec Room at 8 o'clock at night. This place is, we got to go to the Rec Room. It's a great place. It's in like a big thing where you can
alley,
but it's like a fun bowling alley game room, and the comedy club's on the side. Please come to that. Then I'm at a place called the Sand Trap in Beaumont, California with Alex. Yep. On Saturday night, the 19th. I don't know anything about this gig, but I hear it's really fun. A lot of people do it. So I'm going out there with a couple of really good comedians, Patrick Keene, Alex, myself, and a few others. It'll be fun. If you're out that way, please come. Beaumont, California, Huntington Beach, California. Then I go back to the East Coast where I just came from, had a blast. This is a little bit of a strange place I'm playing. It's a brewery called Cisco Brewery that the guy from in Boston does once a month. He does gigs at this place in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I don't know anything about Portsmouth, New Hampshire, but I'm coming there the 25th and 26th, Friday night, Saturday night in January. And I see a blizzard is coming. There's a blizzard on the way, like way off. I was watching Al Roker this morning, and he said this blizzard is coming to pound the East Coast right about when I'm going to get there. So if that happens and I get stuck there or I'm not able to make it, I'm going to do my fucking best to make it to the Portsmouth Cisco Brewers. And I would love you people to come. It's only $20 and we're going to have a good time. One show Friday, 2 Saturday. Or maybe it's 1 and 1. I'm not even sure. I think it's maybe just 1 and 1. But it's going to be a blast. My fucking live show is fun. Anybody who's come to them can tell you, you have to come out, hang out with me. And listen here, I'll do you this. If any of you people work for the government and you have been furloughed and you will continue to be furloughed on January 25th and 26th, and you live in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, I will fucking take you to lunch on me. You get whatever you want. Bring your fucking family. I really don't care. I'll pay for it. You get appetizers. You get 2 drinks. Don't get fucking crazy. You get 2 drinks, all right? And I will pay for it because what you have to go through is shitty, and I will take you out to lunch on both. I'll take somebody out Friday. I'll take somebody out Saturday. And we will go out and I will pay for it. And that's that. And if you live in Huntington Beach and you're a teacher, that sucks too. But I don't think it's Huntington Beach that's affected. Anyway.
Man of the people.
How do you like that? I'll take you out. And I'm not shitting you. So write me. And thank you to the girl who sent me. I wanted her name. Just some girl sent me $25 on Venmo just for the fuck of it. She's like, hey, man, I'm entertained by your podcast. And I know you don't get paid for this shit. So here's $25. And last night I did another podcast. Then I went to a little diner and I spent $25 at this diner. And I said, hey, you know what? That was on that person. So thank you for that. Goodbye, everybody. Let's do it again next week. The numbers on this podcast have been fantastic. But what needs to happen now is you need to go out there and you need to tell all your friends. And we need to get everybody to come listen to it. They're going to be better than this week's because this week's there's a flood. But we made it through. Alex, you still alive?
I'm alive.
So we did it. Let's do it again next week. I love you all. Bye-bye.